Hi, this is Nightline and I'm Muhammed Ahmad Hamdan. The headlines. Massive earthquake jolts Japan. Residents told to evacuate coast. And hundreds arrested in special op nationwide. Good morning. No Malaysians have been reported to be involved or affected by the massive earthquake that hit Japan earlier on Monday. In a brief statement, Wisma Putra, however, told Malaysians in the affected areas to remain vigilant and follow the latest updates and advice issued by the local authorities. The ministry also said it was monitoring the developments in the aftermath of the earthquake that struck the central and west coast of Japan. In the meantime, Malaysians requiring consular assistance have been advised to contact the Malaysian embassy in Tokyo, either via its hotline or by email. The statement also said that Malaysia extends its deepest sympathies and condolences to the victims and families affected by the earthquake, as well as to the people and government of Japan. Now, earlier, a series of earthquakes hit central Japan's Ishikawa prefecture, triggering a tsunami warning and advisories for residents to evacuate. Though the highest level tsunami warning has been dropped, residents in coastal areas were told not to return to their homes as deadly waves could still come. According to Japan's meteorological agency, a succession of 21 earthquakes registering 4.0 magnitude or stronger struck central Japan in just over 90 minutes, with the strongest tremor at 4:10 p.m. local time, measuring a magnitude of 7.6. The tremors also destroyed buildings, knocked out power to thousands of homes and disrupted travel to the region. However, no deaths or injuries were reported so far. The quake, with a preliminary magnitude of 7.6, triggered waves of around 1 meter along parts of the Sea of Japan coast, with authorities saying larger waves could follow. The Japan Meteorological Agency issued tsunami warnings for the coastal prefectures of Ishikawa, Niigata and Toyama. A major tsunami warning, the first since the March 2011 earthquake and tsunami that struck northeastern Japan, was initially issued for Ishikawa but later downgraded. However, more strong quakes in the area where seismic activity has been simmering for more than 3 years could occur over coming days. Top government spokesperson Yoshimasa Hayashi said several houses have been destroyed and army units have been dispatched to help with rescue operations, adding that authorities were still assessing the extent of the damage. There have been reports of at least 30 collapsed buildings in Wajima. The quake also jolted buildings in the capital Tokyo, some 500 kilometers from Wajima on the opposite coast, while more than 36,000 households had lost power in Ishikawa and Toyama prefectures. Meanwhile, Japan's nuclear regulation authority said no irregularities have been confirmed at nuclear power plants along the Sea of Japan, including 5 active reactors at Kansai Electric Power's Ohi and Takahama plants in the Fukui prefecture. Hokuriku's Shika plant in Ishikawa, the closest nuclear power station to the quake's epicenter, had already halted its 2 reactors before the quake for regular inspections and saw no impact from the tremors. Chief Cabinet Secretary Yoshimasa Hayashi also added that there is no risk of radioactivity leaking from nuclear power plants in the areas affected by the earthquakes. However, authorities were still checking the extent of damage.
また、志賀原子力発電所をはじめ、原子力発電所については、現時点で異常がないことが確認をされております。合わせて人的物的被害については確認中です。国民の皆様におかれましては、引き続き震度7程度の地震の発生に注意をいただくとともに、揺れの強かった地域にお住まいの皆様は、自治体の避難情報のほか、テレビ、ラジオ、インターネットなどの情報にも注意をしつつ行動いただくようお願いを申し上げます。
On a related matter, a tsunami measuring under 1 meter reached South Korea's east coast in the wake of the massive earthquake that hit Japan on Monday. According to South Korea's meteorological agency, the first tsunami to reach its coast was 67 centimeters, but it may increase in size after the initial waves and may continue for more than 24 hours. Gangwon Province and the city of Samcheok warned residents to take precautions, urging them to stay away from the coast and evacuate to higher ground, as sea levels could possibly rise up to 50 centimeters during the heightened intensity. Separately, North Korea also issued tsunami warnings for its coast of possible waves of more than 2 meters, while a tsunami threat was also declared in the eastern Russian cities of Vladivostok, Nakhodka and the island of Sakhalin. Now, a group of Malaysian students in Ishikawa said they have evacuated to safety on higher ground as a precaution after powerful tremors struck the prefecture.
Kami sedang berteduh di salah satu kawasan convenience store sebab we went to a higher ground sebab tadi since pukul 4.20 tadi ada gempa bumi yang sangat teruk dan sekarang masih lagi banyak gempa bumi susulan serta amaran-amaran tsunami yang besar, terutama tempat yang kami ada sekarang iaitu Ishikawa. Tetapi kami cuba yang terbaik untuk ingat apa yang patut kami lakukan apabila kejadian seperti ini berlaku, dan kami cuba untuk tenang dan kami keluar rumah.
The students said they are still experiencing several aftershocks at their current location. They also mentioned that many people were rushing into shops to buy food and other necessities.
Mayat tu dalam kereta dalam keadaan kepala ke bawah, kaki ke atas, belakang tempat duduk pemandu.
Kes bunuh pemandu Grab Aiman Nosri 27 tahun bermotifkan samun.
Niat samun itu telah menyebabkan kejadian bunuh.
Hutang nyawa mesti dibalas dengan nyawa.
Fail Mahkamah, Rabu 9 malam di TV3 dan stream secara HD ditonton.
Moving on, Deputy Education Minister Wong Kah-wah on Monday said that the Standard Operating Procedures SOPs for curbing the spread of COVID-19 in educational institutions are still applicable. The SOPs issued last April by the Education Ministry include encouraging the use of face masks among teachers and students, requiring students and school staff to self-test if they have symptoms, as well as on maintaining personal hygiene. Wong assured that the Education Ministry will closely monitor the situation as schools reopen this week, adding that all SOP-related matters would only be finalised after discussions have taken place with the Health Ministry. On whether affected schools would be temporarily closed, Wong mentioned that the ministry would carefully handle each case and seek advice from the Health Ministry if the situation becomes serious. Last Friday, Health Minister Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad stated that despite a spike in COVID-19 infections in recent weeks, the situation in the country remained under control, with most cases reported involving mild symptoms and not requiring hospital treatment. In other news, a total of 4,568 partygoers were inspected following raids on 70 entertainment outlets nationwide by the Bukit Aman Criminal Investigation Department in an operation codenamed Ops Noda. The raids, conducted by the department's Anti-Vice, Gambling and Secret Societies Division D7, were conducted between 1 a.m. and 6 p.m. on Monday.
Bukit Aman Criminal Investigation Department Deputy Director Deputy Commissioner Fadil Marsus said a total of 104 locals and 373 foreigners were nabbed for various criminal and drug-related offences. The most number of raids carried out were in Johor, with a total of 15 locations raided, followed by 12 in Selangor, 9 in Kuala Lumpur, 8 in Pahang and 7 in Pulau Pinang. Other locations were in Malacca, Sabah, Sarawak, Kedah, Negeri Sembilan, Perak and Perlis. Among the offences committed were operating without a valid entertainment licence, employing guest relation officers or GROs, testing positive for drugs, and not having valid identification documents. Authorities detained 270 foreign women from Vietnam, Thailand, Bangladesh, China, Myanmar, Laos, Indonesia, and the Philippines, as well as 103 foreign men. Also seized were more than 20,000 ringgit in cash, 47 sound systems, 20 amplifiers, 53 microphones, 102 bottles of liquor, 12 DJ decks, and 154 receipts.
As the country ushered in the new year, police thwarted over 300 mudrum pit from flaunting their daring antics in a special traffic operation early Monday morning. The operation ran from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. in Klang, Selangor and the federal capital. A total of 325 motorcyclists were detained, while 86 motorcycles were seized during the operation conducted by the Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Division of the Klang Selatan District Police Headquarters. The motorcyclists were earlier spotted engaging in illegal racing and dangerous stunts at Persiaran Raja Muda Musa in Port Klang at 1 a.m. Some were seen performing the Superman stunt on their motorcycles, as well as riding against the flow of traffic, which could endanger other road users. Upon realizing police presence in the area, the group tried to escape but was unsuccessful, as they were already surrounded by authorities. All those detained, aged between 16 and 30, were then taken to the district police headquarters for further action. A total of 303 summonses were also issued for various traffic violations during the operation. In Kuala Lumpur, another 204 summonses were issued, while 11 motorcycles were seized in Op Ambang Tahun Baharu, conducted at the Duta Toll Plaza by the City Police Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Department, JSPT. The operation saw various traffic violations, including riding without a valid license or road tax, riding without side mirrors, and even not wearing a helmet.
Kalau alasan yang dibagi tidak ada duit dan sebagainya ni, kita akan saman sebab apabila dia menggunakan motosikal menunggang orang yang membawa dan menunggang termasuk dengan kanak-kanak mesti wajib memakai helmet, tidak dikecualikan.
The majority of the traffic offenders were in their teens and early 20s. Some of them also admitted that it wasn't the first time they were caught riding without a license. One rider even said he left his vehicle registration number at home as he didn't have time to install it on his newly bought motorcycle. Another motorcyclist also tested positive for drugs. A local man died and another was injured after they were hit by fragments from exploding fireworks materials on the roof of a car park at a Port Dickson hotel on Sunday. Port Dickson District Police Chief Superintendent ID Shah Muhammed said that a 40-year-old victim sustained severe injuries to the face in the 12:30 p.m. incident and died on the spot, while his 39-year-old colleague suffered injuries and was sent to Port Dickson Hospital for treatment. Both victims are employees of a company who were assigned to install fireworks for a New Year's Eve show at the hotel. An investigation is underway to find out the cause of the incident. The case has been classified as sudden death. Kedah police are conducting an investigation into a fireworks incident that occurred at Dataran Bandar Baru during the New Year celebration on Sunday night, as circulated on social media. Bandar Baru Police Chief Deputy Superintendent Azmi Mokhtar, however, said police have not received any reports regarding the incident and confirmed that the incident did not cause injuries or fatalities to any of the attendees. He said following an investigation into the incident, the police found that there had been no requests related to the fireworks display from the organisers and no permits were issued. The case is being investigated under Section 3(5) of the Minor Offences Act, which provides for a fine not exceeding 100 ringgit or imprisonment for up to 1 month or both. Meanwhile, the police also remind the public not to engage in any speculation about the incident that could cause public concern. 2 dead in the Philippines' New Year celebrations. News from the foreign front when we return.
Jangan pandang ringan dan mudah. Anggap batuk awak ini serius. Woods ubat batuk dengan rasa pudina. Memberi sensasi kelegaan di kerongkong. Berkesan melegakan batuk. Woods ubat batuk yang saya percaya.
Seluduk migran, rumah transit digempur.
Hei, keluar! Keluar, perempuan! Keluar, cepat! Kau sembunyi lagi!
Transporter jadi perantara.
Pukul berapa kau bawa masuk tadi?
Dijanjikan menggunakan speedboat bayaran 1,750 satu orang.
Saksikan 999 Selasa jam 9 malam di TV3 dan stream secara HD ditonton.
Sejarah adu saing nyelam dulu memang ramai. Lebih kurang 100 orang lebih. Sebelum buka Bandar Muar ni, orang dulu dah ada nyelam.
Pelancong-pelancong luar yang datang kat sini daripada Jepun, daripada Amerika, Afrika. Dia bercakap memang sedap nyelam sini.
Mungkin saya seorang kat Malaysia ataupun 2-3 orang saja yang berjaya. Buat kali pertamanya saya boleh ternak dia dekat makmal ni dan berjaya ada anak dia dan tengok sendiri anak dia membesar.
Stream juga melalui tonton.
Onto the foreign front. As the world celebrated the New Year with fireworks and festivities, Palestinians in Gaza were running for their lives, seeking places to shelter. This occurred as the Zionist regime intensified its bombardments in Buletin refugee camp, and Israeli ground forces expanded their brutal invasion to the southern part of Khan Yunis. According to officials, 5 members of a family were killed in Israel's attacks on a residential building in Deir el-Balah, while another heavy aerial bombardment near the European Gaza hospital in Khan Yunis claimed the lives of 5 Palestinians. Meanwhile, at least 21 Palestinians were killed and several others were wounded in a series of heavy airstrikes on the Bir an-Najah, west of Jabalia, as well as on the Maghazi refugee camp in the central Gaza Strip. Over in the occupied West Bank, the Zionist regime have arrested another 32 Palestinians, bringing the total number of Palestinians detained to almost 5,000. To date, the death toll both in Gaza and the occupied West Bank has surged to 21,978 Palestinians, with 57,967 others left wounded. In Indonesia, more than 140 Rohingya have arrived in the country's North Sumatra province over the weekend on Monday, adding to a surge of arrivals of members of the Myanmar Muslim minority to Indonesia, according to the country's state news agency Antara. The group, consisting mostly of women and children, arrived by boat in North Sumatra's Deli Serdang area late on Saturday. The arrivals came as after the military said last week its Navy vessel had driven away a boat carrying Rohingya in waters further north of Sumatra, as a persecuted ethnic minority faces growing hostility and rejection in Indonesia. Indonesia, the world's largest Muslim-majority country, is not a signatory to the 1951 United Nations Convention on Refugees, but has a history of taking in refugees if they arrive. Heavy rains lashed parts of Australia's east on Monday, triggering flash flooding and inundating roads. The northeastern New South Wales and southeastern Queensland regions were pounded by a wild weather system overnight, with several towns taking roughly a month's rainfall over 24 hours to Monday morning. More heavy rain is forecasted until Tuesday morning, with totals set to exceed 250 millimetres, more than the January average. A forecaster at the Bureau of Meteorology, in the meantime, said the locally intense rainfall could also potentially lead to life-threatening flash flooding. Thousands of residents in Queensland are still without power after thunderstorms on December 25th and 26th uprooted trees and knocked down power lines. 2 people were killed while 116 others were wounded in New Year fireworks-related cases across the Philippines. One of the deaths reported was due to firecrackers, while the other happened because of a stray bullet. According to the Department of Health, a total of 116 new firecracker-related injuries were logged on Sunday, bringing the total count for December to 231. Among the fresh cases was an 11-month-old from Metro Manila who sustained a burn on his face and right eye due to an illegal piccolo. Around 49% of the injuries were from the National Capital Region, followed by Central Luzon and the Ilocos region. Rude shines as Norway down Croatia. Sports after these breather.
Mayat tu dalam kereta dalam keadaan kepala ke bawah, kaki ke atas, belakang tempat duduk pemandu.
Kes bunuh pemandu Grab Ahmad 27 tahun bermotifkan samun.
Niat samun itu telah menyebabkan kejadian bunuh.
Hutang nyawa mesti dibalas dengan nyawa.
Fail Mahkamah, Rabu 9 malam di TV3 dan stream secara HD ditonton.
Drama-drama terbaik 2024 membawa anda ke dunia berbeza. Ketawa bersama, kekal selamanya. Lestari, Hot Fellas, mulai 4 Januari 9 malam. Kasih yang Kudamba, Akasia, Cinta Bersemi di Wadi Safia, mulai 9 Januari 7 malam. Perpisahan tidak diduga, Samarinda, Menanti Senja, mulai 17 Januari 10 malam. Melangkah ke aras baru 2024 bersama kami. TV3, sentiasa bersamamu.
Sports tennis, the United Cup. Casper Ruud stepped up his preparations for the Australian Open with a pair of wins as he doubled up to guide Norway to a 2-1 victory over Croatia in Sydney on Monday. World number 23 Dona Vekic gave Croatia an early 1-0 lead with a 7-5, 3-6, 6-3 win over unheralded Malin Helgo. However, 3-time Grand Slam finalist Ruud swiftly defeated Borna Coric 6-4, 6-1 in just 89 minutes to level the proceedings and propel the tie into a decisive mixed doubles encounter. The Norwegians teamed up and downed Vekic and Ivan Dodig 6-2, 3-6, 10-7, keeping Norway's quarter-final chances alive after their loss to the Netherlands 1-2 over the weekend. The victory left Norway awaiting the outcome of the last remaining Group F match between Croatia and the Netherlands on Tuesday. In another match, world number 1 Iga Swiatek led from the front as Poland edged past Spain 2-1 to qualify for the quarter-finals. Swiatek dominated her singles match against Sara Sorribes-Tormo, winning in straight sets 6-2, 6-1, while Hubert Hurkacz was upset by David Davidovich Fokina 6-3, 3-6, 4-6 in the men's singles match. Swiatek and Hurkacz then blanked Sorribes-Tormo and Davidovich Fokina team 6-love, 6-love to ensure they are on track to repeat last year's performance of reaching the semi-finals. Poland finished as the Group A winners and became the first nation to advance into the last 8. And still on tennis, 4-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka won the first match of her comeback by beating Tamara Korpacz in straight sets at the Brisbane International. The former number 1 ranked Osaka was broken while serving for the match at 5-3 in the second set and needed 3 match points before converting in the tiebreaker for a 6-3, 7-6 victory over Korpach in the first round. The win marks her first WTA victory in 15 months and first match since the arrival of her daughter in July. The 26-year-old from Japan will face Karolina Pliskova in the next round. After this short break, dozens of illegal foreigners detained in factory raid. Don't go away.
Meneroka kepelbagaian Malaysia bersama kisah-kisah inspirasi. Majalah 3, 1 Januari 9 malam.
Pesawat itu telah terhempas.
Juga kes-kes jenayah dan tragedi 999, 2 Januari 9 malam.
Membuka tirai rangkuman kejadian jenayah.
Fail Mahkamah 3 Januari 9 malam.
Mayat Ahmad ditemui selepas 2 hari hilang.
Melangkah ke aras baru 2024 bersama kami, TV3 sentiasa bersamamu. Tayangan 10 malam pastinya menembusi imajinasi, mengundang misteri dan menghidupkan aksi. Anak Perjanjian Syaitan, 5 Januari.
Anak yang kau kandung tu, anak benih syaitan kau tahu tak?
Too Fast, Too Furious, 12 Januari.
I want to keep your eyes on the road, Playboy.
Fast and Furious, 19 Januari.
I didn't know there were any rules.
The Thieves, 26 Januari.
Ready, action!
Melangkah ke aras baru 2024 bersama kami, TV3 sentiasa bersamamu.
Welcome back. In Johor, a total of 121 illegal foreigners were nabbed by the State Immigration Department in an operation in Pontian early Sunday morning. All of them were rounded up in a raid at a factory located at Jalan Ulu Choh, Gelang Patah at about 1:40 a.m. The operation, based on tip-off from the public and intelligence gathering, involved over 100 immigration enforcement officers and personnel. During the raid, 600 foreign workers residing in 30 container-turned living quarters within the factory's compound were inspected. Out of the total 109 Bangladeshis, 8 Pakistanis, 2 Indian nationals, as well as 1 Nepalese and 1 Indonesian, all aged between 22 and 50, were detained. Checks revealed that all those detained did not possess valid travel documents and had overstayed in the country, aside from various other immigration offences. The case is being investigated under the Immigration Act. Meanwhile, another 370 migrants were inspected and more than 100 were detained in a joint operation to weed out illegals, led by the Immigration Department in Brickfields, Kuala Lumpur at 1 p.m. on Monday. The raids, involving 30 shophouses and business premises near Jalan Tambi Abdullah, were carried out by 224 enforcement personnel, including those from the National Registration Department and Civil Defence Force. Immigration Deputy Director for Operations, Jafri Mbok Taha, said the operation is part of an ongoing crackdown against illegals and in response to complaints from local residents over the influx of foreigners in the area. All those detained aged between 25 and 71 comprise nationals from Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, India, Myanmar, Nepal, Indonesia and the Philippines. The offences committed include overstaying, not having valid identification documents and misuse of social visit passes. They were later brought to the Semenyih Immigration Detention Depot for further action. Investigations are being carried out under the Immigration Act, Passport Act, Immigration Regulations and Anti-Trafficking in Persons Act. The fireworks lit up the sky as a world ushered in the new year, accompanied by the echoes of massive crowds, cheers and laughters. As we wrap up Nightline this time around, let's take a look at the visuals from several countries around the globe welcoming 2024. With that, I'm Muhammed and Hamdan. Thank you for watching Nightline and be well, Malaysia.